1987, before we started Lee & Associates in 1991, and I want to tell that story at some point. But in 1987, I was just starting to make some money. Been in the business 3 years. Was on my way to SMC at the time. That was a big deal at Grubb & Ellis.
Yeah.
And I saw this Time magazine, and the cover was 50 things America makes better than anything in the world, anybody else in the world. And so I picked it up and I started looking through it, and there was a little thing. It said Oxford Suits. It was the finest suit in the world. That's what Time was saying, and if Time said it, back then,
and
it was.
They were made in America.
But you would think it would be Savile Row or somewhere in England, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I'm gonna, I don't have any money, but I'm going to, as a goal, I want to own an Oxford suit, right? Sometime I want to be able to afford an Oxford suit.
Were they light wool suits or?
They're custom made suits.
Yeah.
You could buy.
Okay.
They were, you would order them. So I read that and I kept that article around, and then so the rest of the story happens in less than a half an hour. So I'm messing around, and one day I think I'm going to make a big deal. So I call 411, just like you did, Salt Lake City. I called Chicago, Oxford Suits, which they were headquartered there.
Yeah.
And I call and I said, hey, my name's Craig Coppola from Phoenix, Arizona. I would like some more information to potentially buy an Oxford suit. So the gal says, well, we don't sell them. You have to buy them through retailers. And I said, oh, really? Who would you recommend? She says, I recommend Moss and Hoffman. They're out of Florida. We just know them. I said, great. Can you give me the phone number? Gives me the phone number. I hang up, dial Moss and Hoffman. I go, hey, my name's Craig Coppola. I just called Oxford because I'm in the cold calling business. I know how to get to the guy.
Yeah, right.
I just called Oxford, and they said great things about you. I would like to potentially own a Oxford suit at some point. The receptionist goes, hold on, please, puts me on hold. 30 seconds later, hi, this is Bill Moss.
No.
So now all of a sudden I'm talking to Bill Moss. Now I'm getting out of my league, right? Because I'm not ready to buy. I'm just a young guy. I'm less than 30 years old. Hey, Bill, it's Craig Coppola. Here's the story. I called Oxford. They told me you. And he says, where'd you say you're from? I said, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. He says, great. I want you to hang up and give me your direct line because I'm going to have somebody call you in 2 minutes.
Wow.
I said, okay, Bill, here's my number. Hang up. 2 minutes later, the phone rings. Hey, Craig, I just talked to Bill Moss, and I guess you want to buy an Oxford suit, and I want to just get on your calendar. I said, what do you mean? He says, well, I live here in the Valley, and I want to come over here and meet you. Okay. So I said, okay. So he goes, how about Tuesday at 10?
Yeah, right.
So, okay, Tuesday at 10. I said, okay. So now that all happened in 4 minutes, right? Tuesday at 10 rolls around, and I get a call from our receptionist. And you know how they tell you a little bit about you. You ask them, tell me, Craig, there's this really dapper dressed elderly man out here to see you.
Yeah.
So I walk out there, and he's just dressed. He's got this incredible suit on, pocket square, all that. He says, hi, Craig, and he introduces himself. And I'm trying to remember his name right now, but he introduced himself. Can we sit down and talk? And he's got this big trunk with him. So I'm 10 minutes into this Oxford suit story. Now I've got a guy sitting in front of me with swatches. So he sits down, he opens his swatch, and I said, well, let's hang on one second. Tell me a little bit about who you are and what you're in. He pulls out a card, and he gives me his card. He was the chief designer for Oxford Suits for 40 years. Wow. He retired to Sun City. Wow. And he was doing trunk shows. So now I'm sitting with this guy who how are you going to tell this guy no, right? So now I'm buying, I don't even know, I order a suit, I don't even know what it costs. I can't ask the guy, because I'm a sales guy, I don't ask the guy. Yeah. So he says, he measures me up, he's the designer, he's 40, he's like 70 years old. So he says, I'll be back in 3 weeks, calls me, says to me, he shows up, I've got this incredible Oxford suit, and then he hands me the bill. It's $1,800 for a suit. Yeah. And then, by the way,
this is when? What year?
This is 1987. By the way, it goes on. I ended up buying 5 Oxford suits before I said, I've got enough. I couldn't tell the guy no. I was like, I had, for 10 years, I was the best dressed broker in Phoenix. I had these Oxford suits. I had this relationship with this man who's since passed. but it was just a 10-minute story. It was a great one. It's like, don't get in trouble. You know, when you know how to cold call, and we tell our guys, we call for a living. We can get to anybody we want.